I'm tired.
Hello, everybody. This is Dark Knight 316, and this is
Robert Wheeler Gaming.
he's my special guest today on this Dark Knights Roundtable podcast. Um, Today we are going to talk about what we're drinking, the Nintendo Switch 2 launch week and thoughts, GameStop investing into crypto and what that could possibly mean for their company, and then our predictions of the Summer Game Fest of what companies that we picked out that are more known and what we think that they're going to be showing off up on there. But before anything that we start up on there, we do a weekly podcast. It's called the Roundtable Podcast, Dark Knight 316 one. I have a food and drink channel as well where I sample different things, like different drinks, different food ones. I have some already that's up there that you should try, like from Disneyland and stuff like that, that was fairly new. So go there, like and subscribe to it. He has a channel. What's your channel?
So I go over collection videos, gaming news, as well as I have a series right now where I'm going through my platinum retirement, where I'm trying to reach max level of trophies on the PSN. So I chronicle my journey through getting platinums for games, in my opinion, that are worthy or not worthy, but they're still worthy to add to my collection. So chronicle the games, kind of review them, go over what the trophy difficulty, in my opinion, is, and whether or not you should add it to your collection. And so, hopefully,
And you're
soon.
going to 999 or you're going to max overall level?
So I'm going over 999 max overall trophy level. I'm thinking, so I'm at 888 platinums, but I'm thinking it's like 1,000's gonna get there, so it's gonna take a while. But it's about time to retire from trophy hunting. So
Yeah, and then we also have a loot box channel where we have things that we think that are interesting up on there. He has one that he showed off about the a mystery box that he got that had a bunch of games in it and what the values of what he paid for it and the value of the games that were up on there and whether he made a profit or not. So you should go and check that out up on there. Okay, so what we're getting started here. What did you bring us?
so I figured everybody needs to go to rehab sometime, so I brought a Monster Rehab for you to drink. This one's green tea.
And he brought me a Rahab as well. This is the Monster Tea and Lemonade. So we'll try this out here. And again, they're not sponsored of this channel. We would like them to. So, if you're watching, give me a call. Yeah.
Could hear that pour. Yeah, look at that pour. Well, this one isn't going to fill up all the way, but see, it actually does look like, I don't know if you can see a little bit in the camera, but I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah, mine's a little yellow.
And then it's a little yellow in a little bit too. So
Oh, and I'm drinking it in my Golden Knights mug.
and got it in my Marvel mug.
Okay, so if you didn't know, the Switch 2 is being launched this week. I'm pretty sure it's the 4th, is it? The
It
5th?
comes out the 5th.
The 5th, okay. So, our thoughts up on it. Do you think that it's going to sell like in the millions? Do you think it's going to sell a lot?
Yeah, I actually think it's going to be. I think it's gonna probably break some records within the first month. As long as they can get enough product out, I think it's gonna sell a lot. I think the facade of people talking about how much it costs and things like that. I think people generally want the next new next gen system.
Mm-hmm.
There are some thoughts I have. A couple things are with the games. As a collector myself, I was reading that some of them have it where it's just license only that you can get a um, for a physical retail $80 game.
Yeah, it's just a key card.
It's just the key card.
Mm-hmm.
So that is a little frustrating to me because as a collector, let's say after 10 years, I want to play that game again. They shut down the network or something. I can't download it for whatever reason.
Yep, because you
I
don't
just
own
lost
it.
$80,
Yep.
and especially if the value of the game is like a rare JRPG, and the value of the game goes up. Like you have to sell it now. You couldn't hold on to it and sell it. Like if you wanted to sell a classic NES game, you couldn't hold it for 30 years. You'd have to sell it sooner.
Do you think that they're gonna have like a lot at launch, or do you think it's gonna be scarce as well, like for retail instantly? Because since retail, they're already advertising that they're gonna have it. Do you think like Target will have like 5 or 6, or they're gonna have like 20, or what do you think with the retail is how much that they're gonna have?
I don't. I think they'll probably have like less than a handful, so maybe 10. I guess if you can consider that a
Like 10
handful.
per store or whatever.
But I know I'm thinking about going to Best Buy because Best Buy said, excuse me, Best Buy is saying that they have, they're going to do like a launch night, which is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been wanting to go check out the launch night again. So I think they said,
Are they gonna be handing out the tickets then at that time, or
so
is it just gonna have
they
like a
didn't say
party?
anything about tickets, but they said between like 12 to however many hours they're going to do it. I'd have to look at my notes again. But they're basically saying that like they're going to throw a launch party. They're going to have consoles there as well as they're going to have like pre-order stuff. They said that they're going to have these like pins that are
Or
going to
like limited
like
edition
limited
type one?
edition stuff. And
That'd be
so
cool.
they're going to have stuff. I haven't been to one of those in such a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking if I can get up, because I got working a couple hours after that, I was debating if I should just get up, stay up all night,
Mm-hmm.
go there, check it out, because I'd love to check it out, and then, get ready for work and stuff like that. So that seems interesting. I think it's probably going to be like less than 10, but I think you're going to start seeing more towards Christmas time. And
Yeah, I think that they're gonna
I
replenish it
do
by that
not
time.
think they're going to um, mess with the price of it because it's actually going to affect. I think what's going to happen is they're going to keep it the same amount for like a year, and then they're going to change the price of it. So I don't think they're gonna release it at $4.99, and then come Christmas 6 months they're gonna get some more a good amount and be like, okay, now it's 5.30, 5.29. I don't think they're gonna do that because it still won't kill their sales, but it's going to kill their public image of like you're trying to sell a console the next gen, but you can't. You're going to raise the price every time you get a good amount coming out. So
Well,
I don't
maybe
think it's going to work.
maybe they might raise the price and say that the ones who pre-ordered it or got it on launch day is one set price, but now for Christmas because of tariffs,
I
they
don't.
they need to go raise it up because it's gonna be harder for them to
I
make.
don't think so. Like, if I can go to Best Buy or GameStop or wherever, and they have one, and I can pick one up, I'm getting a. I would like to get a second one as just a brand new copy
Mm-hmm.
to keep it. Something I want to tell you guys is if you go on eBay and they're 3 times as much, do not buy it. It's ridiculous.
You'll eventually get
You
them.
can wait.
You may not get them day one, but they'll have some. I mean, if even if you don't get it by Christmas time, they'll
Wait.
replenish a lot
The
of
thing
what.
is with Nintendo, um, nothing's gonna really be as like if you looked at the Nintendo Switch, there wasn't things that had like, oh, this game's gonna be 40% off, 50% off. Switch held its value for most of the generation. So unless they had like a Black Friday deal or something like that, you weren't typically going to be able to save any money on unless you got it, second hand. But you're going to be paying $80, and I think you do wait a little bit because do you want to play it? You think of it like the PS4 to 5. If I use my old Zelda cartridge upgrades, and then I could pay $10 for a new upgrade. Would you rather go that route versus me buying a whole brand new $70, $80 game?
Mm-hmm. The only thing
So
I worry about is like the family, like the mom or dad that wants to get it for their kid and see on how much of the shock value it is for the ticket price up on it,
yeah,
and then having to you want like let's say like Mario Kart, even though I don't think Mario Kart's doing this, but we'll go buy Mario Kart for little Johnny, and you
mm-hmm.
open it up and it's just a cartridge. It's not the game. It's just a key card. You
Mm-hmm.
put it in there, and then now you're going to be like, oh well, well, little Lisa wants to go play it too, but she can't play it because it's a key card. You have to download it, do a family thing, like do all these steps just to
Mm-hmm.
go and do it. And I think that that's one thing that Nintendo has done bad on it. So if you wait, see how the public reaction is to all this because it is fairly new. Nintendo
Mm-hmm.
has backtracked on a bunch of their stuff once it gets public, outbursts and stuff. So I would just wait up on it. Um, What do you think are the launch titles? How many, and what do you think?
I believe they mentioned it. I think they said that there's going to be like
Like
15 or something like that.
15?
There's a
I
good
thought it was going to be
handful.
like 10.
There's a good handful amount, but a lot of them
Are old ones,
yeah,
yeah.
like
Fortnite.
Cyberpunk,
They got
Yakuza,
the Zeldas.
Zelda, stuff like that. So they're not really anything. The game I'm looking forward to is Final Fantasy. I like to try to complete my collection
Hmm.
on each console.
Yeah,
So
I
I
heard
still got to work on Xbox
I
though, but
heard the remake 1 and 2 are going to be up on there.
that's gonna be fun to
I
play.
don't know if it's going to be a collection or if they're going to be separate, but they're
Mm-hmm.
having the Pixel remasters back up on there again, up on there, and then
Could probably do
they're
that again.
also
Pixel
like
Remaster.
the Donkey Kong game doesn't come out till towards Christmas, so
Yeah.
that's not really a launch title; it's a launch window. So they're having basically the same thing that PlayStation 5 had, where it's not really any new games. It's just like, you know, old games that are compatible for the new system, not really, like any surprise game, except for, because I don't even think that they gave Metroid Prime, might be the only launch one besides Mario Kart. Are
Let's
they
see.
only to launch
I'm
it?
looking it up. Let's see.
All
Uh,
confirmed games?
let's see. All confirmed games they say are. Let's see. All this. Okay, so Arcade Archives 2, Bravely Default, which is what I do want to get,
Uh huh.
which is sold out when I saw it, so I'd have to go in the store. Cyberpunk.
Okay.
I don't got my glasses on, but Deltarune,
Uh, okay.
Fantasy
Fantasy
Life
Life.
1, Fast Fusion, Fortnite, which isn't really.
Which, with Fortnite, it's a key card thing. So even though it's free to download, there's loops that you have to do if you already own it on Switch. So it's a problem with that. But you can look up a video on YouTube and they'll show you how to get past it.
Hitman, World of Assassination, Hogwarts Legacy, Kunitsugami Path of the Goddess, Mario Kart World,
Yeah.
which this one that you get in the console is the one I'm getting. That's
Hmm.
going to be a DLC code, right? It's not going to be. It's not going to be a. Or it's just going to be a. It's not going to be an actual physical
No, it's
cartridge.
gonna just be a DLC
Yeah,
code
that's
for
going
it.
to be the code or
Yeah,
whatever.
you don't get the physical.
Your GameCube Classics, which is interesting, but they have not explained what the classic games are for the GameCube.
Yeah, and
So that
that's
is
just part of the
just the
that
Switch 2,
online one, right?
the
Yeah.
online. And you remember
So
too, Nintendo 64 is doing a whole like ROM thing, like they're doing with the PS2 where you can rewind and stuff like that.
oh, okay.
So that's going to be interesting as well. But then
All
they
right.
got Nabunga, no, I can't even say that.
Nabunaga's
Nabunaga
Ambition.
Ambition, Nabunga
Okay.
Bunga,
Puyo Puyo,
Puya Puya,
Texas.
Rune Factory, Guardians of
And
Azuma.
that's out on other systems too,
But that's
right?
a that will be yeah, that one's gonna be a
Okay.
fun one too. Shine Post, Be Your Idol, Sid Meier's Civilization,
Sonic
Sonic
Shadow
X,
Generation.
Split Fiction, Street Fighter, Suikoden.
Yeah, the collection.
That would be an interesting one. Survival Kids, Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild,
Hmm.
Tears of the Kingdom.
Yakuza 0 Director's Cut.
Mhm.
And then
Radio Remastered and Tamaguchi. So I would say what that was probably good, maybe 20. They didn't tell you.
let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Yeah, about 20 Switch games, which some of them are past Switch 1 games.
And see,
So,
this is interesting because I'm looking forward,
yeah.
and so they're talking about like East X Proud Nordics. I'm probably that's in
Uh,
Japan, but I'll probably get that for the Switch when it comes out later. Anything else? Matt, they're actually gonna have Madden 26, which is
yes.
crazy.
And they just revealed the cover athlete for that one.
Yeah,
If you
good
didn't
luck.
know, it's the guy on the
Saquon Barkley.
Eagles. Yeah, that's
Saquon Barkley.
mm-hmm.
See, so they got like for me RPG games I would like to play like Pokemon Legends
Well, they show
in
third
October.
quarter in October. They're having Tony Hawk 3 and 4,
Yeah,
which is
that
kind of cool.
was Tony Hawk's. I saw that too. I passed it up.
Yeah, you passed it up
But they're gonna
in
have
October.
yeah, quarter 3. The Pokemon I'd like to play.
It was Dragon Quest 1 and 2.
That one I already pre-ordered for the regular Switch. But yeah, see, so there's not really too much like games that Borderlands
Borderlands
4,
4
which will
next
come
year.
out. So games that if
Yeah.
you're looking forward to the Switch, like Elden Ring, I'd probably try. because I've never played Elden Ring normally.
Final Fantasy VII Remake they showed.
Yeah, and then this is interesting. You hear about this one? 007 First Light?
Oh yeah.
They're releasing a new one.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then Proud Nordics and things like that. So it's going to be an interesting, I think, games that it's more, not a lot of exclusive, more a lot of third party that's coming out within the next year.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be whether or
Did you
not you're going to
figure
want to
the
play it.
only exclusive actual Switch 2 game is Mario Kart?
Mm-hmm.
Because the Zelda ones are Switch 1 games, just upgraded for Switch 2.
Yeah.
So,
So I will, I get mine a little bit later. So I will have an unboxing video of it. Um,
and
yeah.
there's a little plastic part on it that I just heard recently that do not remove. It's a little sleeve that's on it. There's one that's like a grayish one that you can remove, but the other one that's a screen guard do not remove because they say that if you got it shipped to you or for the box up, it could crack, and then that will not protect it if you had that removed, and then you can't return it.
Typically, though, what you want to do is usually like things like that. Keep your. I think for the longest time, the PS5 had the one stripped down the center. That was a plastic one. I kept it on there for the longest time.
Yeah.
Typically, I'll just keep it on there because I don't like. I don't want the little cosmetic defects on there from like little scratches that I'll do, or my fingerprint stuff like that. Eventually, you take it off. But I think what you want to do is you want to just keep those things on there because unless for whatever reason you're going to be taking it with you a lot, which I don't think you would because battery life and things like that, just keep it in there, keep your plastic on there, and then you're going to be watching it on your TV anyway. So I'd say just keep it like that and get used to it. So.
Yeah. So the next story is the GameStop investing into crypto.
Mm-hmm.
So what's your thoughts on that? Because for me, I'm like, if a company invests into crypto, it's pretty good because they're thinking it's longevity up on it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's GameStop. Like, I don't see GameStop being a future company that lasts like 10 years from now. But that's why it's interesting that they used up all their money from their shareholders to go buy crypto on there, thinking that they're gonna last up on there. Which, like, Toys R Us and all them, they didn't last, and they didn't do any of that to secure their future assets. So,
well, I was kind of thinking of this a little bit because the other thing, I was trying to remember. I didn't do much digging through. But the CEO, is this the new CEO that they hired recently? So you got to think what this guy has done with GameStop. And a couple of years ago, GameStop was like on the peak of bankruptcy, and people thought like GameStop was actually going to go under. And now, like they're in a position of they're actually not going under, considering the fact that the way the market is on trying to get games and things like that. They've rebranded on a couple areas. Like one, they're going back to actually having retro games again because a lot of people want the retro games.
They want the physical,
and the market has been flooding with wanting to do retro. But two, if these GameStop stores, like you got to think if the big three want to say we just want to go digital only, GameStop doesn't manage digital. They're more of a physical brick and mortar.
They won't make any money off of
digital. They won't make any money off of digital. So they have to position themselves of being able to sell other things and be able to not only do games but like entertainment. So investing in crypto, I can see him doing this as a way of if the company, for whatever reason, does not make a profit, has to go bankrupt, you can sell the crypto when the crypto market goes up, and then take the money and position GameStop in a way of. Before I mean, I made a joke about it, like, oh, GameStop's leaving the gaming industry, but I mean, I think it's actually a pretty good investment. I know, like stock wise, it's going to fluctuate. It's going to go down because it's like, oh well, the CEO is actually taking like, oh well, we're not making any money as shareholders because you're investing it into crypto, but he's positioning the company as crypto gets stronger. You're going to make more money if GameStop does well now. You can sell that crypto, and you probably more than likely will have to. They probably do something where you get like a dividend from it because it's a company investing. So your shareholders will probably have to get paid out if he were to ever sell that and have to invest in, because he can't just say, okay, it's mine. I'm taking it.
Yeah,
It's
it's
GameStop's.
supposed to be the company's.
So
Yeah,
you'll probably have to pay out your shareholders and bonds, dividends, things like that,
crypto.
and they will probably get a piece of that. So I think
Hmm.
it's good for GameStop. I think GameStop right now is one of those that surprised me because I think they position themselves better than most game stores right now because they actually said, instead of saying nobody wants this, nobody wants retro, they said let's just try it, let's just see, because we'll keep taking retro and we'll see how many people come in here. We'll do Pokemon cards again, we'll do grading and things like that. Like I haven't seen them much of where they used to do, like, oh, I'm in the phone business. I don't see them pushing
They used
their
to.
phones are
They used
used
to.
to, but now it's more the Pokemon, sell a bunch of Pokemon cards and grading
Hmm.
systems and retro
All
and things
their
like that.
basketball
I wish
cards,
GameStop
baseball
would go
cards.
into more buy one get ones and stuff like that, so I can build my collection. But other than that, I think I'm actually like excited. I go to GameStop a lot more now than I have in the past. So
Well, you got to remember, I think it was a couple of years ago when they had, I believe it was the different CEO. I don't think it was the same one, but their stock plummeted so bad that
mhm.
then somebody went and bought a whole bunch of them and fluctuated the market to make GameStop
Yep.
come back up into the market share up on it. And they made a bunch of money because they were short selling the
Yeah.
stock and stuff like that. And so now, like, it's a viable company. But
Hmm.
like, if you go into Best Buy, even some of the Targets, there's no more physical games. It's just a box there that you got
Hmm.
to go scan it, and then they pick it up and give it to you for physical like that. There's not
Hmm.
one where you can actually kind of like see it, hold it, touch it,
Because you remember
that
when
kind of
they
stuff like
did?
that.
You remember when all these companies would do those trade-ins.
Yep.
Like I remember we'd go to Best Buy and trade in some games to go get
Hmm.
games, and now it's like nobody really does trade-ins anymore outside of GameStop
Yep.
because Best Buy failed, and
Yeah, because they all tried to beat GameStop, but for some reason,
you
GameStop
know,
was the one that
and you got to think too. Like
everybody did it.
we complain as like a GameStop gives us pennies on the dollar for our games,
Hmm.
which I totally get, but like you also got to think too, they're a business, so if you are willing to buy Call of Duty and you only get $30 back for it or 25, then you got to think like like that's on you because you could go and sell it at another market, like you know any of your marketplaces,
Hmm.
Amazon, eBay, and make a little bit more money. But if GameStop is saying like I get your games on pennies on the dollar and you're willing to do it, because we used to do that when I was younger. I remember I wanted to get like the I think was it Advanced Warfare when they had the copy of the, and
Hmm.
I'd sell like 10, 15 games and then use all my trading credit because I wanted to get the new Call of Duty because just specifically for that game because they didn't sell it digitally. But it's like I look back on it now and I'm like, I made that choice even though I technically could have just waited a year to go play Call of Duty. And
Hmm.
this is when I actually liked Call of Duty. But um, yeah, I think GameStop's in good position. I like their crypto move. I know previously I was looking at it and I was joking about it, but like over the course of the week since I made that video, like I think it's a really awesome move, and I think it's I'm excited for GameStop. I'm hoping that they do a lot more investments like that. Um, I hope GameStop can start to grow even bigger. Because my one thing is, it's for GameStop. I grew up a lot with GameStop, EB Games, things like that. So for a company like GameStop, I you know take it with what you want, pros and cons of what they have. But growing up with them, I would not like to see GameStop leave because I've seen a lot of the childhood stores of mine leave. So I'd like to see GameStop continue success going into the next console generation.
Yeah, and I'm glad with this CEO he changed a whole bunch of stuff because they don't push the credit card, they don't push the excuse me, buying the
They did it the last time I was
yeah,
there.
buying the iPads or the cellular phones because they didn't know what they were.
Hmm.
Because if you were like a kid or whatever, you're going into a game store and they're like, "Oh, tell your parents you want to go buy a new cell phone." How like that makes no sense
Hmm.
whatsoever up on it. But selling games and games accessories and like shirts
Entertainment
and
stuff,
memorabilia and all
Pokemon
that kind of stuff
cards,
like that,
all
like
that. Yeah.
that makes sense. That's what a store should have,
Hmm.
but not, oh, we're going to sell you cell phones, we're going to do up all that and stuff like that. I mean,
Hmm.
look how fast the Vita filled when they had that Vita 3G one where you had to have a phone plan to use it. Like that fell real quick, and
Yeah.
most people
Whoever
bought
came
the
up with
Wi-Fi
that,
one.
Nobody's
So
gonna have that. Plus, as much as I'm a gamer, I was not having a 3G plus
yeah,
pay for that
like
plus my
and
phone
my cell
plus
phone and hooking it
they
all up. Like,
wouldn't let me use that attach it to my plan. If it, no,
no.
it wasn't.
All right, so the next story we're talking about is the Summer Game Fest on there. So what I did was I looked at the list of the companies that are going to be there,
Mm-hmm.
and I picked out some of the companies. So we'll go through those companies, and then we're going to say what we think that they're going to reveal,
Okay.
and whether they're going, to reveal it or not.
Mm-hmm.
We'll find out. And Summer Game Fest is Friday, Saturday,
Friday.
Friday.
I,
Okay.
I believe it's the actual show is Friday, but everything else is like throughout the week. So
Okay.
it's going to be the build
Like
up. I
with the
believe it
build-up.
is. So they'll like talk about what's going on and things like that. But I think it's like two. I want to say it's like 2 p.m., 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific, like something like that. I have to look at it again, but I know when it's on, I'll be at work.
Yeah.
So
All right. So the first one I picked on the list is 2K games.
okay.
So I think that they're going to show off, of course, like all the sports games. So they're going to show the Madden. They're going to show the cover up on there, like whatever new gameplay gimmick that they show up on there. I also think that they may show like a trailer, probably not gameplay, but like a trailer to the rumored Battlefield game.
Hmm.
Is supposed to do
Interesting.
now. I don't know if it's going to be the remake of Battlefield Bad Company,
Mm-mm.
or if it's just going to be like Battlefield 5. I'm leaning more towards Battlefield 5, so that then they have something to compete against Call of Duty, and that's what my thought is for the
Well,
2K
let's see.
games.
Battlefield didn't come out this year. I mean, it didn't come out last year, so they're not a yearly
No,
release. Like, so their last one, there was it 2042,
something like that.
failed. It wasn't
Mhm.
that good. My biggest thing is I haven't seen Battlefield do like a remaster. I haven't seen
So you
them.
think that they might
They might do a remaster of like their
their
Battlefield
first
1 or something
one
like
or
that,
their
and
2048 or whatever it is,
because I can't
or
see them doing
1940?
5. The reason why I can't see them is because their last couple like single player stories haven't been as good. So I can't see them continuing a story, and they haven't pushed like Battlefield Bad Company. So they have it. I can't see them making a third one of that. I can see them doing a remaster, something where they reposition, like go back to what made these games popular and remaster like Battlefield remaster and just go back to the straight up like multiplayer competitive. I would probably play it then because that would be interesting to go back to like the old days of when Call of Duty
It's
took
like
off.
32
Just
players,
like
64
32
players, something
players
like
get
that.
in there and just your standard like
Mhm.
just warfare of back and forth and getting your kill death ratio up and things like that
Mhm.
versus these ones where it's like it doesn't make it as fun. Like the way I like to think of these games is how can it wouldn't matter as me as a gamer, but I think of if you're going to release Battlefield 2K, how can somebody who hasn't played your game in years, like I played Battlefield 5, I was like, and this game wasn't as
Mhm.
good. I'm just trying to complete for the trophies. But how can you say Battlefield somebody who didn't like Battlefield 5 hasn't really played since the very beginning Battlefields to bring me back into the market.
Yeah.
Like things like that is what you're going to think. Old school classic, just bring out your big matches and have me run around killing people. I think that's going to be your don't nothing extravagant where I'm like flying all these planes that I can't control and missiles that I can't get around, like things like that. So
Yeah, so I'm not 100% sure, but didn't 2K also make BioShock?
they did.
Okay, so do you
Mm-hmm.
think a BioShock remastered or BioShock remake possibly will be shown off?
Um, Now, I'm going to say an unpopular opinion here at this roundtable. You didn't like Infinite. I thought
I,
Infinite
I
was
didn't like Infinite.
a
No.
really, 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 really good
My
game.
favorite was BioShock 2.
I think Infinite is one of those games that everybody should play. It was a great game. I don't think you make a Bioshock remaster or anything like re-envision, reimagine. You make a third one, Bioshock 3, because Infinite is your third one, but you go back into the series of making Bioshock 3. I think the
You think that
problem,
they're going to do the 3?
I don't,
You don't?
but that would be a prediction. I'm hoping,
Mhm.
but I don't see them going forward of making a like a oh let's do. I see them remastering it or remaking it and things like that. I don't see them actually saying, if we're going to continue on three, is it going to be from the Infinite arc, or is it going to be what happened after two? Let's come up with a story like that and continue it. I think that's the biggest problem we see in gaming today. So if they were to make one for 2K, it's going to be like a remaster of BioShock, which I don't think
I
is
think it's
good.
going to be a remaster of Bioshock if they do show off for 2K. Because the only reason why I think that is because Bioshock is only stuck on the PS3 era, besides digitally, like for the PS4.
Yeah.
So you can't really like it's stuck on that basically that
Mhm.
system and the Xbox and stuff like that, where
They
you
haven't
need
come
to
up with
be
a
able to
new
bring
game in
it.
over
Yeah,
10 years.
yeah. So I mean, and people like you
Mhm.
still thirst for that.
I'd like to, and
For
you
the
know what?
Bioshock
I
one.
might actually, in my journey, complete BioShock 1 and 2 remastered,
Mm-hmm.
and go and complete that. But I played Infinite. I didn't play Infinite when it first came out because I started it and was like this, like the design, all this. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
like it. But then I started hearing people playing it, and I was like, let me just try it. And when I actually got through, like, when you get through kind of the first like hour or two, and you're like, okay, and it starts to pick up, it got really good. So really enjoyed it. That was a really good game.
All right, so the next game I picked on the list was Bandai Namco.
Bandai Namco.
So I think they'll probably Bandai Namco will show off a the next entry into a Tales series,
Okay.
like one that they possibly still need a remaster. Like I don't think that they're gonna make Tales of Arise 2. I
No.
think that they'll bring out like maybe like the rumored Zillia remaster like that, or bring out. I mean, I would like it, but I doubt that they will. But like a whole Tales of Destiny
I don't think
remaster
so.
remake up on that
What
one.
is still left on the PS3 version?
The Zillias,
Zillia. So they'll
Zillia
probably
1, Zillia 2.
they could probably do a combined one, Zillia 1 and 2,
Mm,
and then
do that collection up on it.
complete the. Because it to me it would make sense they combine it to get you back into playing both of them versus
Mm.
releasing Zillia 1 and then next year or just combine them both like Tales of Symphonia. Do it something like that, but
Well, they recently re-released Tales of Symphonia just 1
yeah, but
back up on there.
wasn't that the collection one that also had two, or was that just one?
I think it was just 1, but I
Then
could be wrong up on
yeah,
that one.
I don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that they could because you got to think Tales of Arise has kind of run its course now, so it's
Yeah,
either
that's why they got to
come up
come up
with a
with a
new
new one.
game
Mm-hmm.
or like if you want part two, come up with part two. But I don't think so because you released a DLC a couple years ago, so that DLC is technically like your part two, years later. But I think a remaster. I think we could see something of a Zillia, remaster, something like
Mm-hmm.
that. I don't think it's anything. It's going to be anything big of like it's going to break the internet. So I'm not too worried for Bandai Namco. If they do a re-release, I think I'll go back and play it. But I'm hoping that I hope they release a new game, which I don't think it will be.
Yeah, and another thing I think Bandai Namco will probably do is show off another character for the Tekken game, because I mean they already showed off Clive
Hmm.
for the Tekken game, so I think that they'll probably show off like another character for it, uh, possibly linking to the next Tekken game maybe, or Tekken remastered up on it.
Hmm.
Also, I think that maybe they're going to show off another Dragon Ball game, either
Mm,
another fighting game or just DLC characters or story
did
arc
they
to their
ever
fighting game.
re-release? 'Cause I haven't been keeping up with the games, but have they re-released the is it the Budokai on the PS2 like collections for those?
I don't think that they've done the
So
Budokai up
can they
on
make
there.
a can they make a
So they could
collection of
make a
those
collection of
games?
that or that the Xenoverse one up on there. Those were really popular as well.
Release those. What was that
Hmm.
HD collection game that they had on the PS3? What was that one? Was
That
that the
was
Budokai 1 and 2?
the Budokai one. They also was the
So they
Xenoverse.
re-released that, but
Hmm.
yeah, I would like them to actually release more Dragon Ball into like a more RPG
Like the
style,
Kakarot
like
one.
the Kakarot,
Hmm.
but not.
Like continue the story on that
Yeah,
one.
I wish that they would do it with like the newer
Sorry.
version because I haven't been able to keep up with the story
like the
on
Dragon Ball
the
Super.
Super.
Yeah.
So maybe come up with like the RPG element of that one and be able to work through the story because they've replayed the story so much of Dragon Ball Z so many
Mm-hmm.
times that I think that even come up with GT, which isn't
Well,
popular, but
GT's no longer canon,
yeah, but
so
like things like that, like come up with a super, go through that, and just continue that. I think that would be much better to come up with like more RPG because I'm starting to get tired of all the fighting games that they do as well. So I'm kind of
all right. So the next one, Capcom. I think they'll still start milking Street Fighter 6.
mm-hmm.
So I think that they're gonna show off another
Well, they
character
have
like
to, yeah.
I don't remember if they have T Hawk in it, but then maybe they'll show off T Hawk or some other like
I think they'll do a
you know
release because you got to think the PS3 era was Street Fighter 4, PS4 era was 5, so 6 is going to
yeah.
last until the next era. Um, I think they're also going to show off Resident Evil 9. That's my
Oh yeah,
prediction.
I forgot
I
about
think
that.
Resident Evil 9 is going to be there, even though sadly I wish that they would do a remake of 5 and wait on 9. But from rumors, from what I've been hearing, I think Resident Evil 9 is coming out. So it does encourage me to go through all the Resident Evil games and get the platinums on those. So I got a lot of work to do on my journey because a lot of games, not a lot of time.
Yeah, I think they'll also reveal the next monsters for the Monster Hunter series because they usually always do that where they release the Monster Hunter and then every so many months they're like these 6 monsters have appeared on the battlefield, so go get these for the new one. Because I know recently they did uh, where you can play, not really play, but you get the outfit and the skin of Akuma,
Mm-hmm.
so you can have his hair and his outfit and stuff like that of Akuma, so you can have that. And then I also think that they're going to show off more of Onimusha 2 because they already just showed, like I believe it comes out in July.
Mm.
So I think that they're going to show more gameplay, more footage, and all that stuff of Onimusha 2. Um,
Do you think now, if we were to make a prediction, do you think that they would do any Mega Man or Breath of Fire?
if I had to put my money on it between those two, I think Breath of Fire would have more of a chance of coming out with either like just their old school collection one with trophies or like a remake,
If they
whatever like
did like
that,
if they
or a
did a
collection one.
remastered collection of the first 4 games
Mm, I
and
think,
forget about
yeah,
Dragon Quarter.
I think Breath of Fire has a better chance than the Mega Man one because Mega Man's been out for so many years. They stopped at X8. They could tell more of the story of it. They haven't done that yet. They've been
Mm-hmm.
keep going back to the old school Mega Man where most people are starting to get sick of the old school Mega Man. They rather want to know what happened to X and Zero and Axel and all them.
Yeah.
So and Sigma and stuff. So they can do that. So the next company is CD Projekt Red, and so I think that they're going to show off uh, actual gameplay footage this time instead of just a trailer of The Witcher 4.
Mm-hmm.
And I think possibly they'll probably show off the 1 and 2 collection of Witcher because 1 and 2 was only on Xbox. It's
Mm-hmm.
never came out to
And
modern consoles.
that would be interesting
So,
because I've never played
mhm.
1 and 2.
So I think it
So
would bring more people into playing it because Witcher 3 was super popular, but a lot of the lore of Witcher 3 people didn't know because you had to
mm-hmm.
play 1 and 2. So I think with that one, if they were to bring out this collection, and it's better to do it now because Witcher 4 is going into a different direction. So you need to know the lore from the first two. So
Mm-hmm.
if they bring out the HD collection remastered or whatever like that, I think now should be the time up on there. So the next one is Epic Games. Um, they'll probably show off maybe a new character for the Marvel Rivals game. Probably show off a new character to that, or another story expansion to Fortnite
Well,
because
like, do you think a lot of these games though are they're going to release games, or they're actually going to be
no,
like, I'm going
it's
to focus
just
on the next generation?
no. They're just going to re-release the same game, just add expansion. Like for Fortnite, just
So
recently did the Darth Vader one where it's actual James Earl Jones's voice
yeah,
put into the game, and then
so
you
I'm
can
not a
ask
fan of
questions and stuff like
Fortnite,
that.
so to me, it doesn't.
And then another one, another company on here is Magic's the Gathering. Now, I think this company will show off their
You think the
pre-orders for their
cards?
collaboration with Final Fantasy. So they're
Yeah,
going to show off
unfortunately,
their
I can't
cards.
get any because
Yeah, it's
people are going to
hard
take
to
them
get.
anyway.
But yeah, I think that they're going to show their Final Fantasy VII collab because I heard rumors that Sephiroth version on this card is different. So people are rumors that this is what the Sephiroth is going to look like in Part 3.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's the case, I mean, it's good to go get these now and try to look at them. But if you do get them, get 2 of each of the ones because then you can open up one and start your collection, and the other ones are
Get a
sealed.
brand new one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that that's what they're going to do. The next company was Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
I think on that one, they're just going to show off more games that are coming to the Switch, talk about how their launch went, whether it's successful, how many they sold up on there, all their accessories and stuff like that.
And I think it's going to be more of a repeat as well. Or
of their showcase.
The thing is, I do take it back because Nintendo's released after, so I think, or before Summer Game Fest. So I think what's going to happen is they'll release it, but they'll talk about like sales, things like that, and what's upcoming in the next,
like
time
Metroid
frame
Prime
of the next year.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think that they'll show off like newer stuff.
I don't think that anything new is just more of
more just trying to get you hyped for more, trying to buy more. Because at this point, it's more consoles. So you got to start promoting your games that already
So I think they'll show like they've already showed more Pokemon,
a little bit of all this other stuff.
I think that they'll show more of like Breath of the Wild, like how it compares side by side between Switch 1, Switch 2.
I don't think Nintendo's going to be like, we're dropping Metroid Prime, and then everybody's going to like try to get more. I think at this point, Nintendo's pushing more units, trying to promote some of their games now, accessories, things like that. Maybe start to come up with new controllers, whatever, and then slowly start to give you releases for games within the next year. If they release them, could be 2 years, but they're going to just rely on kind of the Marios and the Zeldas and right now until.
Yep. And so the next company, of course, is PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they're going to talk about their day of plays on how much they made. You can buy a PS5 now on sale, like all that kind of stuff on there. Possibly, I think since they didn't show Insomniac here, but they did show PlayStation, I think possibly they're going to show more footage of Wolverine because it went dark after they just showed a basic like trailer of his claws and stuff like that. No gameplay, no nothing up on that. So possibly, I think that they're gonna maybe show gameplay, maybe have a release date, but I don't think that they'll have a release date. I think that they'll just show more of it so to kind of get your hype on it because they don't got anything. They don't got another Spider-Man game. They're not making the so-called Venom game up on it. At least not right now. Their next big game that they're working on for Insomniac is the Wolverine game.
I think PlayStation's kind of in a weaker position right now because since they're like up in, if you want to call it the console wars, like only 2 games stand out. Death Stranding 2 is supposed to be coming out.
They'll probably show
so they'll probably push that, and then the Ghost of Yotai. They'll push. I think it's just going to be basically like they're
just those 2 trailers
pushing things like that because you got to think like, are they going to push something for their PlayStation Plus? Oh, it's going to be on sale? No, I don't think.
You don't think they'll shadow drop like some mysterious game?
I don't think so.
And they'll say like available now after the showcase.
The only thing I could see is if there's something like Square Enix has a big announcement and it's dropped like starting at first on PlayStation and then it goes to other consoles. But other than that, I don't see. I think PlayStation's in the weaker position of dropping because they're still selling consoles and things like that. So they don't have games. They don't have games of anything that's going to come out. So I don't think the Wolverine's coming out. I don't think Insomniac's.
I don't think it's coming out either. I think like
they'll do a remaster of Ratchet and Clank.
I think if anything, Wolverine like they'll maybe show it, but if it does come out, it's going to be on the last life cycle Wolverine. I mean a Wolverine, a PS5, so that then when PS6 comes out, it'll remaster it and it'll be for PS6.
I can see
that's how I see them.
I can see them talking about like another Last of Us, pushing something of like,
I mean, maybe just talk about the HBO series.
The HBO series doing good. They're like hype up things, even though
maybe they'll talk about the rumored God of War series that's going to be for HBO Max.
I don't know. Like, I don't think PlayStation's in a good position because, like, you got to think too. Are they going to talk about another Uncharted? Probably not.
I mean, rumors are that
Um,
Uncharted 1
yeah,
is
but
going to get
it's
remastered.
that's. I'll probably still play it because I like the Uncharted series, but I think that's they need to make a five. I'll write your script. I already have idea of what position five should be. But other than that, I don't think Sony has anything. I don't care for Death Stranding 2 because I didn't get into Death Stranding 1. I don't care for Ghost of Yotai. Ghost of Tsushima was really good. I like that. But like, I'm not big on those, and especially at this point, like to pull me away from the RPGs I'm currently playing, like I'm not gonna spend my time playing that. So I
Hmm.
think PlayStation's in a position like they'll probably discount for the next week during days of play, you can get the PlayStation Plus for new members, not me,
Yeah.
but new members to be able to get it. So I don't think PlayStation is that good. They'll probably push more controllers and things like that, but I don't think there's going to be something big at this late in the PlayStation life cycle that they're going to uh, like just break the internet. So I'm not excited for a PlayStation showcase.
Yeah, what about the next company, Sega? Now, for me, it was kind of hard to figure out because Sega doesn't really make like they make a bunch of games, but I don't like really see like
Mm-hmm.
anything really coming out. So the only thing I could come up with is maybe they'll show off a new entry into the Sonic franchise,
Yeah.
like maybe the what was Sonic Frontier 2, maybe,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe a DLC to that,
But what
because
company
they
are you
are
missing that Sega owns?
because Sega like already has the that Cross Shadow one that's coming out, which is just their collection one, New Planet Shadow. And then I also said on here that maybe they'll surprise us and bring out a brand new IP, like how Claire Expedition was a surprise hit. Maybe they'll come out with something else. But what am I missing from Sega that
Atlas. They own Atlas.
oh they own Atlas? So do you think maybe the
Persona 4
Persona
remake.
4
I think
remake?
that's
You
what
think that's what Sega will bring out?
Sega will bring out
Mm.
because I don't think that Sega is gonna talk about uh, it slipped my mind now. The their other RPG that they have, Sword Art. I don't think they're gonna bring out another Sword Art or
I
anything
don't know.
like
I'm
that.
kind of done with that
I think Persona
with
4
Sword Art.
Remake is kind of what's on the pipeline, and there's been rumors since that voice actor who used to do some
Yeah.
stuff back in the day came out and said it. So I think at this point, Sega's got to be like, hey, it's in the pipeline remake. That's going to sell. And I
Do
don't
you
think,
think that'll be shadow dropped, or do you think that that'll
no,
come out during the holiday
I
season?
think that they'll push it soon. I'm thinking early next year,
Oh,
but
okay.
it will probably come out. But I don't think that they're going to push another Sonic game yet. They might push like a
I mean, they might just promote that cross generation that's coming to
Yeah,
Switch.
like they might just do that, but I can't think of them actually. I think a lot of the Windows, if they're coming up with games now, like with 2 years out, they're gonna push it that late 2027 to remaster into the next console for Xbox and PlayStation. So
All right. So since I forgot Atlas from Sega, the next one is Square Enix.
Squeenix,
Now, I think that they're going to show off the collection that'll come to Switch. It'll be the remake and rebirth. They'll show that off. They'll say, 60 frames per second, like best way to play it, blah 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 blah
hmm
blah. Also possibly think that they will say that all future Final Fantasy games from this point on will be on every console
I think
because
so.
they're no longer going to be console exclusive. So I don't think Sony will have them on. It's not going to be first on Sony, then on everything else. I think from now on, it's all going to be on every console on there. So I think that they'll announce that saying because they're bringing remake and rebirth to Switch too, that they're going to say, okay, now it'll be on Xbox, it'll be on
hmm
Sony, that kind of stuff. I also think that they'll either give us a trailer to remake part three and actually reveal the name because Jeff Keighley likes to go, oh, but more, like let's wait. Oh, look, there's something else up on it, and they'll give us the actual title. Release date will probably not be up on it, but the actual name, so we can stop calling it part three.
hmm
We'll actually be able to get the name on it, and I think that they'll actually bring out Final Fantasy IX, the remake of
You
that
think
one.
so?
I think that they'll actually show us that it is alive and it's not
Now,
just all rumors up on it.
I will give you this. They will not show. Rebirth for the remake part 3.
You don't think that they'll show it?
No
A trailer?
trailer,
No nothing.
no new name for it, and they will not show Final Fantasy IX remake.
So what is
They
Square
will
Enix
shadow
have?
drop Final Fantasy 13 trilogy. They will show it off and shadow drop it like they did Saga Frontier 2, and they just
You
shadow
think that
dropped
they're
it
going
and
to do the
released
whole
it.
3 games?
I think they will do the whole trilogy and release it because
that'll be surprising
because
if they
one,
did.
that's the only game left that they have that has not come to modern consoles.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a game that they can just remaster, polish it up, and send it on their way. So I think
that
it's
they've
something
already
like
been
that.
working on it.
I think they've
and
already
then
been working on
just
it.
going to shadow drop.
'Cause-
And nobody knew that they were going to
Because
be
here's my
remaking
thing:
it yet.
at this late in the console generation, you haven't had it on the PS4, you haven't had it on the PS5. So are people going to want it on the PS6? And you've remastered all your other games. You've done a remaster for 8, which is some people's least popular.
And you've done 12.
You've done 12. You've done 9. Like, I think they shadow drop 13 trilogy
That'd be interesting.
And make it like available now once they get it. Because other than that, I don't think that they're going to show off. Because at this point, unless there's a release date for remake part 3, they're not going to show anything. So they're not going to show anything for that. 9, I think that isn't Tokyo Game Show coming up.
That's usually at the end of September.
So I think something like that.
You think that they'll show it there?
Because I think 9 is going to be they're releasing 9 like at the beginning of 2026, and then in my opinion, Rebirth at the end of 2026. That's how I think they're going to do it.
You mean part 3?
But yeah, part 3. But I think they're going to shadow drop 13, and I think that breaks the internet. But that's where I think that it's like they're going to shadow drop it on like a PlayStation showcase because PlayStation doesn't have anything strong. So I think the shadow drop it PlayStation showcase.
So going back to the PlayStation one, you think PlayStation will have that, and then
they will be the one to show it. It's going to be for all consoles, but they're going to be the one to show it. And then I think they're going to like have like a whole remaster thing of all their previous ones on Switch 2. Everything's going to come out for Switch 2 for the previous one because this makes perfect sense right now to drop 13. Other than that, 13 sits.
What about
10,
Tactics?
15 years?
Tactics,
I don't think so.
You don't think Tactics will do it? If they
do not make it.
If they do Final Fantasy IX remake and that's actually real, Tactics will be the next one.
Don't remake Tactics. I'm Tactics is one of my favorites. I do not want to remake. If they remake it or remaster it, they have to do the PSP version and let us play online with other people.
Yeah.
That's the only way I would say, hey, remake it. But other than that, I don't want you to ruin Final Fantasy Tactics.
Yeah.
I'm fine with playing whatever you released for it, polished, but don't remake it, don't remaster it, don't touch it.
Yeah. So, well, one thing we can know for sure that Square Enix will probably talk about is their Magic's the Gathering collaboration.
More than likely.
They're going to show off the cards and show off the decks and stuff like that because that's been their big one and they want to push the pre-orders. So I think that they'll definitely show that off on there. But other than that, I mean, I don't know of anything else that Square Enix do. I mean, maybe they'll show like more of Dragon Age 1 and 2.
They'll probably push that.
Dragon Quest 1 and 2
because the remake's coming out.
Because the remake's coming out.
Or will they push a new Dragon Quest 12?
I don't think so. I think that they're gonna start working on the remake. So bring out like 5 and 6,
another
7 and 8,
Star Ocean
on there. I don't think Star Ocean will get too much love. I mean, Square Enix just said that they're gonna go back to their old library and start doing it. So I mean, it's possible.
Brave Fencer Musashi.
But I mean, that would be a good one. But I don't think that they're gonna be doing it this soon.
That's your action RPG. Your Brave Fencer Musashi. You could use a new Tactics Ogre.
The number one underrated game was Brave Fencer Musashi. And most people were like, "Oh, this looks ugly" or whatever. But yeah, so really good game.
Really re-release that on the PS1 Classics. Let that come out. Yeah. That'd be pretty cool.
All right, and then the last company that I picked up on here was Xbox. So I think all Xbox is going to do is just show off all their games that are coming to PlayStation, coming to Switch. I don't think that they're going to show off anything new. So I think that like they're going to show the Gears of War remastered playing on PS5.
Yeah.
Like showing the graphics and stuff like that, which would be weird on a Xbox people talking about it. But I think that they're going to show it. They're saying that Xbox is going to be played on anything, any console, anywhere,
I think
anytime, like that kind of stuff like that. Because Xbox is pretty much, I think they're done making consoles and stuff
they're never
because,
gonna make games. They're gonna be
well,
like Sega in a couple of years.
yeah, because I think like rumored was like the company that they were partnering with to make like a Steam Deck backed out, so
Hmm.
they're not making it anymore, and so that there was their jump into the handheld market, and so now I don't think that they're going to do that. So I don't see them making another Xbox
Hmm.
console because I mean,
I
why
think they
would
do.
you if you can play it on everything
No,
already?
I think they make one more Xbox
You
console.
think one more?
I think one more, and this is kind
What do
of
you
like
think? A 720
no,
Xbox Series 2
it's gonna be
X3?
something lame. They're gonna name
Like,
it, but I think Xbox is they're gonna have because they still have to go into like they still have Xbox fans who want Xbox, so they have to go into the console war one more time. And I think this is kind of their make or break. If there's kind of two things I think that Xbox could do. One, continue with their backwards compatibility, keeping their same going
moving
into
forward, yeah.
forward with that. That hey, I can play. That should be like their position. I can play everything on Xbox.
Yes.
PlayStation can't.
Hmm.
So you can't play all your games. We could just put in a disc and let you play it. And two, I think if Xbox promoted physical copies of their games, I think Xbox wins this console war because you think everybody's going to digital, but Xbox says, hey, as long as we hit like a minimum amount of games that people want to buy, we will continue to make physical copies for you.
What if they,
Even though they got rid of that era of
yeah,
those people who made it, I think
what if they come out and they're like, our next Xbox, $50 games, where
I think
PlayStation and
yeah.
Nintendo are like 90, 200,
I
$5 million
I'd
games,
say that's the
like
thing.
that. And Xbox like, nope, we're gonna
I
lower the
think it's
prices of all of
possible.
our games.
I think if they said, look, we want to put Game Pass on every console,
Mm,
whatever, like we want your Game Pass on there, but our games remain physical and our games remain cheap, Xbox wins this.
yeah,
Xbox takes that
because
stranglehold
yeah,
from Switch and PlayStation back to Xbox, and then Xbox just has to focus on keeping their retro alive, and then also going into the era of actually having good games. I
yeah,
think that's where
yeah,
they
because I think
survive.
the first company that actually lowers their prices of games
Hmm.
wins it
Wins. I think
because
so.
people will just flock to that. Because I mean, if I had a choice between a $50 game or $100 game, $50 game, I don't care if it's crap.
Hmm.
$50 game
At least I
will
paid
beat out.
$50 for a
Hmm.
game that I beat in 10 hours
Yeah.
versus
Whereas
playing.
$100 game that you beat in 10 hours and you're like, oh, okay, I'm gonna sell it at GameStop, get you know $43 for it, and then now they're gonna sell it for 200, and you're
Yeah.
like,
So
you know,
that's the only way. So if Xbox is listening, let me market it for you because I think that's the only way. That's the only way they survive. Other than that, because you got to think if they're going to put all their good games, their Halos, their
hmm
Gears of War, their Fables, things like that, like you lost. You throw in the towel, wave the white flag.
hmm
But if you position yourself going into the next market, where you say, "Hey, these things I know that you gamers are saying that you have concerns about, we aren't raising prices. We're keeping retro games. You can take your old physical copies of games and put them in your system and download it and play it." Like,
yeah, because that would be smart for them. Because if you look in the past, they've always screwed up on something where it was always on, where you had to have your
mm-hmm.
Connect hooked up to your cable box
Yep.
and all that stuff like that, or where they're like, oh, you have to play online, and then like Sony would come by and be like, free to play online. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
everybody flocked over there. Oh,
So
you don't always have to be online. You can go do whatever you want.
yeah.
Boom, everybody flocked over there. So if they changed their strategy and made it where it's like, this is the affordable console with affordable games, and you can have Game Pass up on here that
Mm-hmm.
you can play up on there. Because Game Pass you can charge higher amount because you're getting a collection of games and stuff like that, which is more value up on it. But if you want physical games of our new games that were released, $50 up on it, like
I think
that
so.
would blow them up to
Keep
be
it at a
super high.
price point of because you think with like Expedition 33, they sold at $50 and
Mm-hmm.
look how much they made, over
Yeah,
3 million copies they sold.
yeah.
So if they can come up with a new Halo, Gears of War, and I want Halo to come back where like Halo old days of Halo, how good it was, their story was good, their multiplayer was good, things like that. I think that they can take back the competition from PlayStation and Nintendo Switch. I think it just comes by a couple of decisions that Xbox makes, but and that's the thing is I don't think the CEO of Xbox wants to do that.
Yeah,
I think
he
he's
just
more
wants it
focused on I
the.
want my games everywhere. I don't think you do that because as a competitor, like oh does Coke want to sell all their product within the Pepsi pipeline? No, you want to defeat Pepsi. So I think with the competition, you want to say I want to be number one. I want you to come and play my consoles. Not I want you to just play my games everywhere. Then you admit that your games aren't worth it to buy a console. I want to sell consoles, accessories, games, multiple games, multiple accessories. I want you to stay within that ecosystem of just I don't want you going anyplace else.
Yep.
Even if you're a gamer, I want you to stay on my console.
Like if you think about it from when we were doing our drinking at the beginning up on it, where we showed the Monster, like imagine Monster's like, yeah, we have our popular Monster Green flavor over on Red Bull. You can go try it there. Yeah, you're just bringing more money to Red Bull. Yeah. You're not bringing money to you. You're dying, from that. So Microsoft bringing it to everything up on there, like that's not a good plan for it.
And listens and says, "This is what consumers want. This is what gamers want. Here's how we're gonna strategy going in the next 10 years for our next 8 years. What I'd say 10 years of our next console. Here's our top 5 branded games of all time. Here's how we're going to reposition them on our new console." Here's what our third parties we want. Here's what we're gonna have the Game Pass. Things like they map that out. I think they win this console war. They make PlayStation actually release games. I think is what happens. I think Xbox has it in them, but I think right now they're more concerned on cloud gaming than they are actually making money.
Yeah. So. Well, that's all of our predictions for the Summer Game Festival. Write yours in the comments below up on there. What's your prediction? And then watch it and see, whose predictions are right. I think I'll probably have more right than Robert will, but who knows? He might actually surprise with that Final Fantasy 13.
That's my
drop on there. I don't think so, but that would be surprising up on there. But thanks for watching this video up on there. Give it a thumbs up again. Give it a like. Subscribe to our channel up on there, and never stop gaming.
Keep gaming, guys. God bless you. Yep. Thank you.
Thank you.